Is this?
Yeah, this is the camera.
Yeah.
That in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like,
No.
Why did you do that?
yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so we've got that on for anybody who's zooming in.
Exactly, yeah.
You still need the meeting ID?
Yes.
I need to see the meeting ID to give to him.
Your comfort levels appear this.
823 324 799 77.
And there's also a passcode down here.
And there's a passcode.
Yes.
It's 073161.
Is it okay? Is it okay if I have the chat up?
Yeah, that'd be great. Is it? Let's see. Okay.
Other question. Dongle for HDMI.
Uh,
HDMI to a
This looks like somebody brought something that connects to a bunch of different.
need something that will take HDMI to this sort of thing.
Oh.
If that one has an HDMI, which I didn't check in advance. That's all.
Okay, wait, what are you trying to plug in? Oh, you need. They're looking for something that they can plug that TV into their laptop, but their laptop will need this.
Oh, they need something special. Drew's coming up to.
Tech or are you doing this?
I'm doing tech.
Excellent. Just keep.
It's the connection that needs, what's the name, do you know the name of the connection?
USB-C to HDMI.
Yeah. Get the people that want to connect it first. And then.
I've seen Very. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in their case.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody is coming up that should have that. Is this
That's what was trying to get.
okay? In a pinch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem, talk to.
You want me to turn on my computer?
Yeah.
We're looking for one right now. Yes, back up. Maybe she has a computer to us.
Oh, she has a computer.
We both have.
That way I.
Is that one being used? That's.
No, but it's attached.
Oh, but this is attached.
Yeah, but this is exactly what you need
I
because
see.
I just unplugged this and this is.
Right, everything else is already set up.
So, yeah.
Okie dokies. We can also use another computer. Yes.
Let's try it.
Writing.
Maybe.
That's good. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Oh, you got it?
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Get a mic check.
Okay, so channel 1, channel 2, if y'all need to adjust. Right here, Fred or Daniel or anybody. Master volume here.
So can they both be going at the
Yes.
same time? Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
There you go.
all right,
But yeah, master volume and then individual channels if you need to adjust those.
okay.
Here, right here. And then Yuda. Nice. And then let's make sure if it's on the wrong video. Oh, yep, Logitech Meetup. So yeah, good to go. And this thing, it'll like, if you look over here,
that's good.
it'll like pan, zoom, and then you can like zoom. So
I think they need electricity for that TV. I don't know why.
it should be.
Turning on. I stopped over here. I tried to set the plug.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hello. Always wanted to be there.
So maybe our Chris's mic weren't going. Those of you joining on receipts, you've probably seen some papers. Yeah, so we have a couple of worksheet for you, and also a reference that you're welcome to take with you. You don't have one, we split it up because we don't have more, and it's great that you all are here and you know. So, and if you want to be able to see this presentation up close, it is available on SCED, the SCED app. You can download from there and access the PDF of this presentation. And if you are, that's not something for you and you want something printed, you can have a black and white version. It's a lot of people. How we're trying to get our presentation. Oh.
Me time. Selfie time. There you go.
You think you can come up some kind of battery again?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Sorry.
messed up. But
Great.
I don't know.
There's another link we can put it.
I don't know how to share it. The new link. Okay. Yeah, you can go to participants. Well,
So you're waiting on the virtual folks are getting set up.
How can I send this to you?
I have it on my Zoom link. Can I send my Zoom to somebody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In the,
Yeah. I mean, that's, you maybe ask who was asking about,
yeah,
said they couldn't join. But yeah, I don't know how we'll get it to you.
you know who it was?
Was our virtual audience? Okay.
Okay, I think we have our virtual audience on. Welcome to the people in the virtual world. Welcome to the people here with us. We're gonna get started. Thank you so much for being here, sharing this time and space with us. We want you to know that we are all very concerned and sensitive about the things going on in the world in and around us. And that this space and time that we share is a safe space for us all. And we hope that what we have for today will be useful, productive, and supportive of you, the individual, and of your communities and your plans and conversations. I want to first say that it just brings such joy to my heart to see all of you here. So many of you I know personally, others I'm getting to know, and my heart is just bursting. Marek and I, along with our fellow DEI committee members, have been working very hard and are excited to share what we've been working on. And it is a DEI, thanks Amanda first. DEIAB Playbook, and it's going to be a resource that's going to get posted on our website, and we'll explain how to get to it and all that. So we're previewing the work that we put in. Before we get started with that, I'd like to introduce myself because there's some of you who are new to me. Blessings. I am Patrice Mustaafaa. My pronouns are she, her, hers. 59 years old, Taoist, queer, lesbian, and American Muslim of African descent, and biracial. I've lived with depression and suicidal ideation and survived both rape, experienced ageism, and have struggled with weight loss. So in this day, in this moment, I'm going to be completely vulnerable to you as I want you to be vulnerable to me, because this is how we grow and this is how we share and become a stronger community together. I am joyfully been a part of our community since 2014, and I currently serve on the board for Pride Man's Alliance, and I get to co-lead the DEI committee with Marek Szeszycki. And on that note, I'm going to invite Marek to introduce himself.
Thank you. Hi all, thank you, Patrice. And let's start. Yeah, my name is Marek Szeszycki. I use he, him pronouns. Identify as queer, trans-masculine, first-generation college student graduate. I grew up in poverty as the oldest of 3 kids, with divorced parents. My first trumpet was donated to me by my band director. I shared the lived experience as a white body person as possible. I'm a trumpet player with 14 years experience in this community, and this is my first year of serving on the White Man's Alliance, so I'm super excited to be here with you all and to present the story that our team has done. I've also made multiple life transitions to this community, from financial to physical to gender to sexuality, everything. I've made many different transitions, and I feel that I've shared that experience and pains of those transitions and what it feels like. And I'm excited to be able to help our bands be able to make whatever changes they do. So as Patrice mentioned, this is a team effort. It's a group of us who are on the board of directors who are committed to this committee and making a difference with the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Joining us on our team is Sam Queen Pope, David Dome, David's here, David was here, David is here, Jason Stevens, and Barry. We share our identities here for you as a way to express how we represent such a rainbow of diversity and expression. And we hope that you will see that passion represented in the preview of the effort. As we introduce the playbook today, I mentioned to some of you as you're coming in, there are these reflection worksheets on your sheet, on your seats. If you need a pen, let us know. We can give one to you. If you'd like to access this virtually, it's also linked instead, or if you'd like to virtually access it. In this reflection worksheet, we'll go through these questions. We'll give you a moment in between each of the sections to jot down your notes, take back and give things to whoever else you'd like to share it with, and also be able to people want to, you can share with us, so we can just review before we incorporate that. And what we'll get through today, time permitting, we'll move through this. We're going to talk about the EIB and the reflection activity. We'll also start. Also make sure all speaking the same language. We know this is good. I'm also excited by all the work your bands are already doing towards this. We want to be able to celebrate that. We'll have some examples here. While Patrice and I here are not DEIB experts, as people who felt other, we are purely committed to helping this happen. And our committee as a whole exists to help connect and make this network even stronger. We also want to recognize that diversity, equity, inclusion, access, and belonging is broader and deeper than gender, sexuality, race, and ethnicity. Some terminology here that we might first use. In reference to diversity refers to demographics, your identities, your board, your band members, your artistic leadership. This is ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, age, veteran status, location, nationality, disability status, musical skills, and many other factors. Whereas equity is giving everyone in the band fair access to those opportunities, regardless of their background. Inclusion is ensuring that everyone in the band is treated fairly and respectfully despite these differences. Access provides this access and committing to making sure people have access to, especially those to the activities and programs, especially those who are finding their schools. And belonging centers around the members, that experience of feeling accepted, being a part of it, and contributing something to that. Promise in front of you, if you don't have one of those numbers, you go card privilege. Take a moment. Referencing the privilege in organization and the types of privilege in our society. So a couple of images here that are recognized in North America that were illustrated by Sylvia Duckworth, who's adapted by the Canadian Council of Refugees. It's going to be used for multiple different TED Talks and diversity, equity, inclusion presentations. Let's take a moment to sit with us and give you a couple of things. Our intersections and our life experience with power and privilege, and where we experience and do not experience power and privilege, is our superpowers. This all makes us unique. So take a moment. How do you identify? Where do you find yourself across these spectrums? How do you feel supported? Now consider how many people they be supported. And lastly, what groups do not appear to be represented? Be curious. Why is that? Access program. So with that, if they can help you realize and have some self-reflection that even in an international network of LGBTQ+ and affiliate bands, there is opportunity to advance diversity, equity, inclusion, access. We're primed to help with this intersection. We all here are excited. It's exciting to have you here. So, yeah.
It's because of this opportunity and importance recognized by you and our member bands that we're excited to introduce the Pride Bands Alliance Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Access, and Belonging Playbook. We hope that you'll leave this introduction inspired and excited to use the playbook with your home bands. Tech challenge. The DEIAB Playbook, DEIA, sorry, playbook is, after this, I'm just gonna say playbook, just so you know. The collection of materials intended to help you guide your band in developing concrete steps to advancing an area of diversity, equity, inclusion, access, and belonging that is most meaningful for you and your community. Similar organizations such as the Gay and Lesbian Association of Choruses has a similar set of resources to assist their groups. In order to support you and your needs for action, David Young, start the show. Hi, David. Collected and formatted materials to being in the field. We wouldn't have gotten to this point without him and his contribution to professional skills, coaching, and corporate groups in DEIA. Thank you so much, David. Yeah. The Pride Bands Alliance Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee has embraced the playbook and formatted the content and defining a plan to assist bands with accessing and using it. What is the playbook? The playbook is broken down into sections with tools to support where your band is in practicing DEIA. 1, pre-launch, 2, launch, 3, growth, 4, with corresponding areas of focus to guide you through band culture, community, recruitment, retention, professional development, and band strategy. It's important to note that we recognize how each band is unique as its members. Therefore, DEIA is different for each organization, and the process of creating belonging requires sensitive conversation, honesty, and innovation. The playbook is one method we will be connecting and sharing knowledge and a way for us to connect and share knowledge across a network of bands. Creating a community of true belonging is a practice now. And it is also noted, should be noted, that we expect this document to evolve. It's not going to be stationary. So based on your feedback, how we're seeing it being used, it's going to be constantly evolving. But the goal again is to improve each of your bands, to support each of your band's needs. Next, we're going to highlight each of the sections, their purposes, and an example of the playbook resource, and celebrate examples of how it's in action today in current bands.
Pre-launch section. The section is about discovery, it's about empathy, it's about understanding what's going on in your current situation, and it could also be learning about new areas to improve. Some of the tools that are in this section that help you out will help with what's the purpose and benefits of a committee. Call it a DEI committee, call it a DEIB committee, call it a specific group that's working towards whatever goal. This should be able to help you with that. Understanding your DEI landscape, a professional model to reflect on, building your committee case, creating a vision and mission statements, and defining your goals in mind. One of the example tools we have here for you is to share for you and help is assessing the band's landscape. These are some questions to use when interviewing. So you have a group of people or an individual that you want to get feedback. That's what AIB activities have been done in the past. Who led these initiatives? What was the process of meeting or process needed to improve these initiatives? What obstacles did you encounter? How did you deal with those obstacles? What's the most challenging thing you have experience as a leader? How did you do it? In your role as whomever this person you're talking to, what keeps them up at night? Well, one thing you know that we didn't like is next. So it's a guide of questions to help you discuss with individuals or with groups. So you understand more, feel that empathy, and understand what's going on, so that you can move on, so you can apply that to creating moving into the other stages. The example we're going to share is from internal. The Pride Bands Alliance board of directors recognized from every initiative realized every initiative starts somewhere. In the situation about 2019, the Pride Alliance board of directors heard and recognized from the bands membership the importance of diversity, equity, inclusion, and so they understood the benefits, and the members at the time of the board of directors, including David Young, Marek, and King, and then recruited Patrice Mustaafaa. made the case to pursue establishing a privatized alliance in the committee. They partnered with a consulting company, Random, to help evaluate that current state, built the committee case, drafted vision and mission statements, established a committee leadership roles. And the result was what you see here today, multiple years later, in progress that has been made because of the past. So this was that pre-launch stage. We did all this effort to get us to where we are moving towards it. So pre-launch, where might we see this being used today? It's a reflection for you. You can take some notes. Where might we see this being used in your band today? What section resonates with you most? Consider what you might want to bring back today. Feel free to use the reflection sheet throughout. You know,
Now we move into the launch section. This is where you have the opportunity to have tools to help you put together a plan of action and execute it. Once you've learned what's most important to focus on for your group, you're ready to move to the launch section. The launch section will help you with planning and give you tools to sort of organize everything so that it makes it easier for you to move forward and execute. One tool would be this DEIAB leadership model. And it includes creating a launch plan right here. So it offers all the pillars, the areas of focus we mentioned earlier: band culture, community improvement, retention, professional development, band strategy. Gives you examples of activities you can do within each area of focus. And the intended outcome of this resource is to help you evaluate what you're doing, help generate ideas on what to do in support of each of these areas of focus. One example is with Lakeside Pride music ensembles in Chicago. There was a push early on for them to engage the community outside of their comfort zone, push towards outside of Chicago to engage so that they could have more diverse or be more open and more inclusive in their audiences and where they play and what communities they were visible in. And so recently they were invited to march for the Bud Milliken Parade, which is the oldest and largest African American parade in the world. Yes, exactly. So I'm extremely proud of my Lakeside babies. I love them. And so that was an example of a whole plan coming together where they launched it and executed it, and that's the result. Once again, take a moment and you can reflect and think about if some of this inspires you. How are you seeing anything in this stage demonstrated today in your band? What in this section resonates with you the most, and what might you take back to your own band?
I'd like to add, we're also thinking of what are other bands doing? When you're talking with people here, like you're here together with other bands, asking them to consider that too. Third section is the growth section. It's about developing and building what you have launched. So after you've drafted that plan, we've launched it, and you're already in that growth section. This growth section has tools that help you recruit leadership team or people who are participating in this initiatives, building a case for funding. So we reflect back on Bud Milliken, how do you make sure they continue to do that, make sure that's funded and supported, and where else to expand to. A communication plan, stakeholders, dashboard, and playbook. So working towards metrics, programming internal and external events, and tools to help them measure these key accomplishments. This is one of those tools in the book. It's about metrics and outcomes, and it gives you some examples of how you might want to measure DEI in the band culture, community, recruitment, retention, professional development, and band strategy. Again, that's those points. Some examples of what that may be is what's the percentage of people who participate? What's the number of community members that are participating? How many community events are you? If you're at a booth somewhere, let's say you're participating in some community events, how many people are attending that booth? How many improve that number of looking for? People who are signing up to your newsletter. Professional development. How many professional development are you posting? How many people are attending? And band strategy, everything leading, everything in the band strategy could be supported with this and vice versa. The example I'd like to highlight is from the San Francisco Lesbian Gay Freedom Band, specifically the Black Indigenous Prison Code Mission Program. It was first announced in 2020, and the first component, and it was largely funded through donations in order to support this program. The intent of the program is created to increase racial diversity, specifically in the voices of Muslims. The first phase of this commission was with, was actually just recently in May, Premier Dr. Zier's and Songbridge. Andrea's here. Is that available for all the pride bands?
Yes.
Yes, and so also taking whatever part of this program and applying it. So that all of our pride bands in our network can use this and use it, and making that part as part of the commitment and contract with these. And then what we see here is our tape. This one. At least let me see the. No audio, you don't get a TikTok video, that audio. Mateo is a 26-year-old composer born in Berkeley, California, and is working right now as a composer in residence. She's working for 2023 and 2024. This is the second phase of this 5 commission program, and she's commissioned several pieces, which will be workshops with the band. So there's also professional experience for her, professional experience for the band to learn from her, and it'll be also be available to private expanding and giving back, which also feeds into that network. Reasons for why the band exists. And to quote Mateo here, beyond excited for the opportunity to work as a composer in residence for the first time ever with LGBTQ. Can't wait to share all the music and world premieres with you. Hashtag composer, hashtag dream job, hashtag women. Just curious which TikToks I was going to recommend for you to see after that. So in a moment, is there anywhere here you're seeing your senior grow, moving out of that plan stage into continuing to do and work on a specific program or initiative? What did you hear today? So far as residents books, and what have you been?
Okay, the last section is Thrive. After your group has successfully developed and executed a program or activities, this section will help you move into the thriving section. Basically, making everything sustainable, keeping everything going so that you continue to grow and thrive. One model tool we have in this section is the DEIAB progression model. And you can see in this slide here, it just shows you what you're measuring in between grow and thrive. So you can look through this and see, do you have a funding process in place, for example? Are you ramping through metrics? Do you have a communication processes in place that are working well? Developing and implementing a multi-year plan and support and so on. The intended outcome of this resource is to identify gaps and transition points between grow and thrive. And then here's our progression model. Again, each one has underneath the areas of focus, band, culture, community, etc. Ideas and questions to help you realize where gaps are or where you're thriving. And to intended outcome again is to support each pillar and make sure that progress for the programs and area of focus continues. An example of Thrive is South Florida, which I just recently learned about, so if I don't get all the details right, please forgive me. But I discovered that they have a youth pride band, South Florida Pride Band Ensemble, that has been successful growing and thriving for 13 seasons, which I think is amazing. They've been able to hand out 200K in scholarships over those 13 seasons. And so this is engaging, youth who are LGBT plus in their area. They're reaching out to their community. And I love this because one of the things that I like to push for is encouraging people at a young age so they know who we are and making them aware of us so that when they grow up, they come join our community, right? So, and again, that speaks to sustainability, keeping our community growing and thriving for years to come. Kudos to South Florida Environmental Summit. So we can reflect on the Thrive stage and see if you're seeing the stage demonstrated today in your band. If anything here resonates with you, or if there's anything you think you might bring back to your own band.
The last piece of the playbook, we're going to highlight this discussion guides. These are to help you identify what areas your band wants to. When you identify what areas you want to improve, you can use these discussion guides to dig in. We collected and curated these collections to help navigate the discussions, and they're intended to help listen and facilitate. The topics which the discussion guides cover, we have the topics for ability and mobility, visual accessibility, gender identity, grappling with exceptionalism, intergenerational dynamics, neurodiversity accessibility, race and ethnicity, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, tips for handling conflict, transformational community engagement, and growth consent. And those that are not there yet will be there. Here's an example of what that guide looks like. We're using ability and mobility as an example. On the left side, we have an introduction of what this area means as topic. On the right side are instructions. So, we're going to do it right now. You're going to think to yourself through this. So the introduction, although many public buildings now meet the requirements for accessibility defined by the American Disabilities Act, many older buildings, like theaters, may not meet those requirements. All leadership designees should familiarize themselves with barriers to access being mobility. In addition, those who work the public should also be trained to discuss and assist with us. The need for the assistance is always determined by the instructions that will repeat throughout these guides are for each scenario to identify the issues surrounding access and belonging present, reflect on the situation, what may or may not be present, brainstorm a range of different possibilities and responses to that scenario. In your band who's responsible to speak up about this, challenge it, support it, and presented, and record the conversations in responses for recording as well. One of the scenarios present here, you'll see these for all the different topics included. This one is a tour band director. For the first time, a wheelchair user admissions for the band. You look over the rehearsal space and see wheelchair accessible signage. I'd also like to recognize wheelchair. Could be reflected with anything else. You can swap in whatever other sort of ability makes sense to you. They see that there's wheelchair accessible signage, so it's not meaning yes, our rehearsal space is acceptable. However, after the first rehearsal, when you member approaches you and you explain how to solve the experience. Oops. And allow them to share and see. Conversation you can feel insecure. They have capacity to access accessibility. Not the topic they scenario they could be talking through, or identify your own scenarios. This is the help give you some sort of some of the sections also have checklists. In this case, reflecting for your audience, for your members, for any space that your organization is in. That could be for social, that could be for performance, that could be for versus. Consider public transit, building entrances, entrance door handles, mats and ramps, outdoor infrastructure, indoor infrastructure, and then access. It's meant to be used as all of these pieces are meant to be used as a recipe book. Find what works for you and what's going to try out what works for you. And help you through that stage, and you might be in multiple different stages or different. Giving you something to work with instead of coming from how do we go next. And with that, discussion guides. What discussion guides? Topics are interesting to you. Which ones you want to go back? Which ones might be able to help? You find this one.
All right, what's next? Okay, we want to show you how to access the playbook. We want to offer you an evaluation to help you figure out where your band is in their DEI journey, to kind of help you where to get started, or where to continue, whichever the case may be. In this process, the process of this journey, using this playbook, continuing on your DEI journey, it's a challenging process. And as I mentioned earlier, we expect the playbook to forever evolve. And like us as individuals, music organizations, and the Pride Man's Alliance, we're all growing, changing, evolving. We invite you to be curious, to ask questions, learn from each other, to celebrate our strengths and in the process. And again, we know that you being here, and we appreciate you being here and showing your interest is worth celebrating just in this moment.
Yeah. That's your key.
Where to start? So we have a QR code here. It's going to allow you to access the evaluation to sort of assess where you are. And you'll be able to use this evaluation to determine the areas of focus on where your band is in the progression line.
That may as well, right? You're all joining virtually. This should be linked in the PDF. If you are unable to access this right now, you could also access that PDF later. People accessing it, is it working? Check those stuff. Fantastic. And if I'll show you'll expect, as you are selecting it now, you'll see it. Expect something like this. With a selection of different information that's on the form. This is the live version. You can see the different sections. And what we are going to do for you, as you collect that, curate and we'll collate the information, and then also be able to share it within our membership committee, within our guys as well. And so you guys also talk potentially the places and maybe to be next. Oh yes.
Okay. So again, as I mentioned, this will be available on the Pride Man's Alliance website.
Not currently available anymore. It will be. We're having some issues, but it is done. So you can get it to you all. By done, I mean it's in the state that it's in.
You're very busy doing conference things and having fun, and we're in one place at this moment. So when you get home and you start thinking about, yeah, it'll be there. If you get into it and feel a little lost and you want some assistance, we are all available to help you, teach you and help you how to best use the playbook. Here again is the team. Feel free to ask us questions, and help us continue to evolve the playbook. Like I said, share your ideas and feedback, resources, volunteer for our committee. We have a standing DEI committee meeting. We have our email available here. Again, myself, Marek, Sam Pope, David Doan, Jason Stevens, and then Olivari. So with that, I'm just going to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being my people. Thank you for going on this journey with me. I appreciate you and each and every one.
Thank you. Well, free to go. We also got questions in a couple minutes. I actually got to get that. So
yeah, I'm staying behind. So if there's anything you'd like to say, offer, question, I'm all I did. Yes, sir.
It's not so.
What is it? Damn, thank you so much, I appreciate it. Cheers. Yep.
You're talking from Chicago and it's from Los Angeles.
I'm actually from New York.
Oh, I.
Yeah, I belong to 3 bands
But
actually.
it still applies.
Yes. Yep. Define resources.
It's. I use research representations, but that's right, it's representation.
Representation for.
It's,
um,
Is there anything like sort of address sort of political climate where?
So the evaluation, oh, David wants to ask, go ahead, Dave.
You only do me if I fall.
Oh, I think she might have logged off. Oh, no, Laura, you still there? Can you hear us, Laura? I think it's just one person.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Just to give you an overview, I'm gonna be trying to project a little bit about the playbook, because that was a great introduction, great job for you to really introduce the playbook. The playbook is close to 100 pages, a slide long. I always use the analogy of a recipe book. You know, when you might be interested in maybe making Italian, maybe you are on a journey to actually making desserts as opposed to an appetizer. It's meant to not be digestible and consumed at one time. In my day job, I'm a consultant. I'm consulting in health, but I also help many clients, like huge clients, on the DEI journey. So this collection of data information to really help you on the journey of, if you're thinking about your DEI committee, which is really the pre-launch, a lot of time what you need to do is to have what I call just leadership buy-in. Like, why do you think you need a DEI committee? What is the composition of the DEI committee? What does that structure look like? How do you really invite your entire membership? So that's what the pre-launch work, which is the most important work, believe it or not, because planning and development is really the most important. Then when you start to launch it, what do you need to think about of those 4 pillars that I mentioned? And those are just suggested pillars. I'm going to answer your question, I promise. I just want to give you an overview of what it is. We saw a deck that introduces the playbook, but I wanted you to get a sense of what is in the playbook. Is really what your question is. Once you go to the launch, the DEI is a journey. It doesn't end. So anyone who works in DEI in 2 different organizations to actually teach and advise clients to do DEI, because a lot of people say, I know DEI just because they're passionate about it, doesn't mean that you actually advise and function on certain what I call theoretical framework and so on. So the playbook helps you to become kind of that, it gives you all the information for you to cook an awesome meal. That's what I want to say. So in your question here is, we would want, by saying what you said earlier, to meet you where you are in your DEI journey, that in itself is really an assessment of the context and the situation and like how you live within your community and what you're probably doing. So anyone who's advising you, like one of us DEI committee members, we need to be very sensitive. Just because it works in Chicago or any other city or Los Angeles, there's gonna be situational context that you really need to appreciate and bring life. Even when I work within the same company, geographically, the office in this city versus the office in that city, even though the same umbrella, same kind of North America IND council that they have nuances that they have. I also work internationally, where what we do in the US is quite different and sometimes not in other country. So I think how to answer that question, it gives you enough questions and insight to be concentrated in your approach, and what we need to make sure that you do to help bring forth how to actually tailor the DEI committee kind of like implementation is for the people who live in that. Share the information so you can actually really tailor the kind of like the approach that you plan in launching and growing and thriving. Does that help? So it's not like an answer, it's more of curiosity and questions to bring forth, but it needs to be 2-way communication. We cannot, or no one should be imposing any consulting, anybody who cannot impose what they think should work is how you think that might work within your community. That's a great question. It's really the flavor of it. Yeah.
I have a question for you. what inspired you to come here today?
Just realizing. And. Yeah. Most of us, I think,
So can I share that, boards that I initially came on, I was usually the only African American woman on those boards. And the majority of them were cisgender white men on those boards. And then I definitely was the only Muslim on those boards. And, I think that's where you start talking about recruitment. And so what I do is I quite often have conversations, I go look for my people, so to speak, is the best way I can say it, and invite them into our community and try to contribute to what I want to see in the landscape, if that makes sense. I don't know if you're willing or wanting to do, or if that would be helpful for you and the board. That might be a conversation right there. Why are you afraid? What makes you uncomfortable? Because, you know, I grew up being afraid of women. I didn't, you know, like, because, you know, I saw a cross burn in my yard. I was beaten. I was called nigger. So, you know, it took some courage and some growth and some tears to feel comfortable to express myself and not be viewed as the tragic victim and or the angry Black woman, or you know what I'm saying. So I think someone said to me, called me the other day, said, you know, I came here because I have this issue in my band with like sexism and sexual harassment, and I don't know how to approach it. And my board is, they're all sitting over here and talking over me, and I'm not feeling heard. But you somehow have been in this community for 10 years, and you still love it, and you still hold up for it. And I said, because in order to affect change, I feel like I have to have those hard conversations, which you have to decide as an individual if that's something you want to do. You have the heart for it, because you will experience all that. That first conversation you have with somebody you don't feel comfortable having a conversation with may not go well. But then the next one, it may totally surprise you. So you have to decide as an individual, you know, how far are you willing to go to create the world that you want to live in? And then go from there. I don't know if that's helpful. Yeah, so, you know, and I'm willing to talk to anybody on board, come to your board meetings and offer my view from my perspective, from my role and my identities, if it's helpful to you in any way. Awesome. And I look forward to seeing
Shameless plug.
right? Absolutely. Yes. So talking from the other side of the track, so to speak, one thing that I appreciated is that people who come from different identities and sectionalities, who've just been honest. I say, look, I had a boss at my previous job, but I'm a white woman. I know I don't know shit, and I know you're not representing all Black folks in the world. but I have these Black people who report to me. I don't know how to talk to them. I'm really kind of lost, and you know, this journey was tragedy. And so I appreciate your honesty. I said, okay, let's have a conversation. Here's your free fall. Ask me all the Black questions you want to ask. I got you. So it's just, again, like I said, sometimes that first, one might feel all those things when you meet the person, but then you might find someone like me who says, ask away, because I feel like if I'm opening myself up to you, then there's things that I'm going to receive from you. And then the possibilities are endless, right? On the world that you and I can create together, right? And so, but again, I always tell people, protect yourself. Make sure that you're ready to have those conversations, because I've had a lot of uncomfortable conversations, and it's not easy. And sometimes that energy wipes you out, and you go home. I go home, hug my pillow and cry, because it's hard, and it's not going to get any easy. So just, I want to be sure that you take care of yourself, that you make sure you have a good support system around you, and then, you know, go out there and make it happen. You know, if you feel you can, be brave. I don't know how else to express it, but I mean, I hope that's helpful. And again, I'm always available just to be a sounding ear if you want, because I love meeting with people and I love learning. Like one of my biggest teachers is sitting right here, Kate Steele. And next to her, Drew Walsh. Yeah, I've learned immense amount of things. Identities and sexualities, and they have evolved my thinking self. I appreciate you. So, but that's because we haven't, living together and being roommates, and just learned so much. She found out every time she came around, all of a sudden she had a black accent. And she didn't realize that until we identified that as, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that. But again, it's a journey, it's a learning experience. You gotta open yourself up. But again, I can't express enough to take care of yourself and make sure that you're ready to do that. And I promise you, going through things will happen. Some bad things are going to happen. But I think the way you help do that. Hope that's helpful. Very well. Yes? Lovely. Oh, man, you're so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Hi, Patrice.
Do I turn it off?
You're okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah. Literally just my hand down my second go.
No, we're always like. I'm gonna read. You go to raw spot and watch these. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I know, I was thinking history, and I was like, oh, I'm sure it's. I got back to that. So, that's what else I get.
There we go. Too many, yes. Yes, exactly. I'm like, oh, no. Yes. There's such a stigma. That's typically. And the credit people let's do and I now want to try to trend socially. I'm just next year. I keep my skill. Yeah, I forget. So it's not the I'm not. He's not here. Oh, there's a different. Okay.
No, I'm just saying, you know, as far.
Yeah. I gave it content. It's on Lakeside, you said? Yeah. Or not Lakeside. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. I will. This resident.
Yes. I'm not. If not, it will.
I've already built the shit. Yeah, they, next year conference, so yeah. I can handle it. How are you?
It doesn't look like it.
Me too. Yes.
Hey, guys, is anybody out there?